So we ended up back in North Minneapolis, and we ended up in this church that I had actually grown up in, and I was a part of it and wanted to be a part of it. And they had just gone through, their building had just gone through a tornado. And so they were meeting in another church. I mean, it was like everything. It was just, it was messy, messy, messy. Just like, having a little baby and moving across halfway across the country, things were busy. But we went and we served at this church, and they didn't have a kids ministry, and everybody kept waiting to do kids because the tornado had gone through. And so they're like, well, we can't do it till this, and then till this is fixed, and then till this is fixed, and they're just waiting. And finally we're like, you know what, I looked at my husband and we're like, we're doing kids in the foyer. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, these kids need somebody to care about them and to love them. It doesn't have to be perfect. Let's just do it here. So we just started doing kids church in the foyer, and it was so crazy because there were a lot of larger families that went to the church, so we had a lot of kids. But then we lived in the city, so like you go outside and hang out in the parking lot. Not right now, but in the summer when it's warm, you go out to the parking lot, and all of a sudden you can have like 15 kids just hanging out with you, like the neighbors down the street, and like 3 houses over, you have a dozen children. And so, like, we had all these kids we're hanging out with, and we loved it. It was so beautiful and wonderful. And then, like, we were there probably 7 years, but it was starting to feel like this isn't the place for us. We have something else has to shift. This isn't right. Something in me is breaking. Like, things aren't working quite the way I thought they should. And we randomly ran into somebody that was looking for a youth pastor, and we started talking. But I'm very loyal. I have a hard time leaving, so I couldn't leave right away. So we started talking, but it shut down, back and forth. And then finally, like, my husband and I and the kids, we were at fireworks in Robbinsdale, and this other pastor that we'd been talking to help with doing youth randomly showed up at the fireworks, and he was like, Rachel? And I was like, oh, hello. And like, our kids and his kids, like, we just started building this relationship, and it was just this spontaneous moment where you go, okay, like, what is God doing right now? How did this just happen? How did we just randomly run into them? And they had a coffee shop church in Columbia Heights, and we started helping there, and God brought us over here, and it was just beautiful. Like, just helping with church, serving community during the week. We loved being a part of this church where we could love our neighbors. And after that, we met Scott because he started helping us at the coffee shop, and helping us not at the coffee shop, but at the church, figuring out how to do all these things. And we're like, this is how we get to serve community. And so God brought us from here to here to here. And then all of a sudden I started following Scott and Rich, not Rich, but Scott and Greg around. And like, can I come to staff meeting? Can I go to prayer? Can I hang out with you all the time? Can I be your best friend? How can I be a part of this? They're laughing because they know it's true. I literally was like, can I come to staff meeting? Like, you don't have to pay me. Can I just be here? And through all of these moving pieces, going here and then ending up here and ending up over here, like back and forth, I zig and zag, but there were all these opportunities that led me to where we are now, and serving in North Minneapolis and loving the neighborhood that we're in, loving the church that we get to be a part of, figuring out how to care for our communities, continuing to just see opportunities to care for our neighborhood.